Hey y'all, thanks for joining me. I have a special story to share with you today about a drug addict and a saint. This story is about how Elder Gabriel finds us in the darkest corners of our lives, proving that there are no limits of time or space for a saint who has acquired love. Saint Gabriel is still ready to go to any lengths, any eccentricity, to make any sacrifice to save even a single soul. The servant of God, Zviad, testifies about events from 2013. I was abroad and I didn't even notice how hooked I was getting on drugs. First I grew weak, then I lost all joy. I lost interest in my job and I drifted apart from all my relatives and friends. When I returned to Georgia, I rented a house in the middle of nowhere to be alone and to try to kick the habit, to try to wean myself off that filth. What a mistake it is to think we can get by in such situations without God and our loved ones. It was only later that I realized it was the prayers of my loved ones that pulled me out of this pit. One evening, I was walking by the woods when I saw an old priest with a white beard sitting on a bench and crying. He was crying so bitterly that even as stoned as I was, I went over to help. "I haven't eaten for 3 days. My strength is failing me," he whispered. I practically carried him back to my place. There wasn't much in the fridge, just some bread and a bologna. I sat him down in a chair and rushed off to the grocery store. I ran back and started cooking scrambled eggs and macaroni, and he said, "I won't eat without you." And there I was, a man who'd forgotten about what normal food was, sitting and tending to this priest for 2 solid hours. "I'd like some wine," he said. I told him I don't drink and didn't have any wine. He reacted immediately. He looked at me sternly and said, "Oh, but you have no problem with things that aren't allowed. You'd better watch out or I'll show you a thing or two," he said, laughing. He introduced himself as Mama Vasily, which means Father Vasily in Georgian. In childhood, everyone called the future elder Vasiko in honor of his late father. After a while, he became ill. He was trembling and gasping, but forbade me to call the ambulance. And I was afraid myself. What if the police came with the paramedics, searched the place, and found the stuff that had put me in this state? "Call the Theotokos," he shouted. "Ask her to help." I didn't know any prayers. Out of a fear, I just started yelling up to heaven, "Theotokos, help! Jesus, help!" And he whispered the names of saints to me. I only remember Saint Haralampos and Xenia of St. Petersburg. After a while, he came around. And at 4 a.m, a new request. "Take me to Sagareo." I was already sick of this weird priest, so I agreed. We drove about 45 miles. He told some stories along the way, but there's only one thing I remember for sure. I really liked hearing his voice and his stories. As soon as we arrived at Sagareo, he shouted, "Where have you taken me? I asked to go to Sagaramo." And that was in the opposite direction, another 50 miles. I apologized and headed that way, and then it started. First, a tire blew out with a bang. Cursing under my breath, I put on the spare. We went a little further, and the spare was in shreds. The car was stuck, silence all around, and this mysterious old man sitting next to me. I spent an hour and a half trying to flag down someone to help us. At dawn, a kind man gave me a ride to the nearest tire shop 10 miles away. This strange priest stayed in the car, saying he'd keep an eye on it. In short, I somehow changed the tire again, and we again headed off for Ramo. This priest sang the whole way there. Some Georgian songs, some gypsy songs from the film Gypsies Are Found Near Heaven. He asked me, "Have you seen this film? I followed a gypsy camp. I lived with them. I baptized many of them. I have many friends there. The gypsies are good people." I started realizing that this man knew too much about me. He answered questions before I even asked them. He took me along the roads of Sagaramo for a long time, telling me to turn right, then left, Finally, he got out somewhere in the end of the road. Getting out of the car, he turned around and said, "This is a day neither you nor I will ever forget. You won't forget, will you? You'll tell everyone which roads we took?" To be polite, I agreed, and then started driving back. Before I could even turn back to look, the priest had disappeared. I have no idea where to. I still had 50 miles to go. With great difficulty through seemingly endless obstacles, I finally made it home. It took about 4 hours. I got inside and collapsed on the couch, nearly a full day in such a crazy, tense situation. I didn't just fall asleep, I was out like a light. When I woke up the next morning, I was amazed that I felt good. Out of habit, I opened the door to take my quote-unquote morning dose, but I couldn't find anything there or in any of my hiding places. Everything was gone. I got angry, then scared, and I thought, were the police here? In that frantic state, ransacking everything all around, I made my way to the bookshelf. My eyes caught a book with a figure on the cover who looked strangely familiar. It was the book The Elder's Diadem, and on the cover, that strange priest, quote-unquote, whom I'd taken care of for 2 days. Or rather, not a strange priest, but Elder Gabriel. And it turns out I wasn't driving him that whole time, but he was driving me. I just sat there looking at this photo. I couldn't tear myself away. I'd heard about the elder, but didn't really know anything about him. A chill ran through my whole body, and tears, as they say, flowed like a river. I don't know how many hours I spent in this state, but the most amazing thing was that in the past, if I was even half an hour late, taking that awful stuff, a terrible withdrawal would begin. But here it'd been 2 days already, and no withdrawal, no shaking, no craving. I was the happiest man in the world at that moment. Soon I returned to my job abroad, returned to my family, returned to God and to life itself. It's been 13 years since that day when I was reborn. I was reborn by the Lord's great mercy and the direct intervention of Father Gabriel. At first, no one could believe that I wasn't taking that poison anymore. When my family was finally convinced, my mother confessed that at that same time, she had lit a candle before an icon of Father Gabriel and prayed, "Please save my son." I always remember his words, "This is a day neither you nor I will ever forget." You won't forget, will you? You'll tell everyone which roads we took? Indeed, Father Gabriel, truly our kind, tireless intercessor, our hope and advocate. I won't forget. And with this letter, I'm telling everyone that you'll never leave us. And if need be, you'll come and bring us to our senses. You'll do it as only you know how, strangely, majestically, and in ways our sin-laden minds can't even begin to fathom. I found this story so beautiful that I had to share it with you all. It really moved me. I hope it did for you as well. What are your thoughts on it? Thanks so much for watching.